Right. Has it worked? Okay. Doesn't seem to have worked. All right, so I'm trying to get this stream stuff to work, and it doesn't look like it's done it. So I tried to schedule a video, but you have to connect your streaming software through YouTube, and that has always been a problem for me. I do it directly through XSplit, so it looks like that is not working. So hopefully you guys can see which one is live. So hopefully, right. Okay. Wow. Hello guys. Got sidetracked by the weed whacker battle video while waiting. Okay. Darn. Oh. Oh, hello. Yeah. Switched over now. So I went online to try and figure out how I could do the scheduling of videos. It looks really cool. But then I go to the main screen, I try and connect my software, this is what I stream through, to the YouTube setup, and it doesn't seem to do it. It just... I need IT support. Anyway, I like the reminder. It also helps with the time difference. Yes. God, I apologise, guys, for that. That is so annoying. Johnny says it bumped me out the other video, but I was able to connect via the notification. To err is human. To really mess it up, you need a computer. Exactly. That is exactly my thoughts. And yeah, so let's just give everybody a minute, because I think there was like 15 in the other one, and I don't know whether they've all come over. God, the screen's bright. Let me hang on. God, the glare. I need some kind of diffusion light. If I turn that light off, then that's no good. Maybe turn this light on over here. How's that? That might be better. Ah, that's better. There's a bit of a glare there, but you know, what the hell. Right. And let's get the let's get this. Okay, so today what I thought I would do is go over some of the stretch goal tables, just briefly have a look at them, and then I thought it might be quite nice to actually write some table, one or two things from the rare potions and the rare scrolls table, and there's one other one, because I know you guys have got tons of ideas and you've got loads of experience playing the game, so it might be nice to have some of your contributions to creating some new rare potions or scrolls or whatever. Nice t-shirt, yes. Yes. May your stamina never fail. Yeah, it's good. Fighting fantasy. There was no indication to come and find another stream. They may be waiting for it to come back. Yeah. I don't know how to go about it, how to notify them. Same, the other video kicked me out and I had to find the new stream, but that was easy to do, exactly. I think if people were kicked out, then hopefully they're on their way back, so we'll give it a few minutes. You could always turn it off and reboot lol. Turn the stream off or whatever, if I bring it back on. For some reason, I've never been, because I use XSplit to broadcast. So a lot of people use OBS, I use XSplit, just always have. And when I try, sometimes when I try and link, there's a broadcast button on the XSplit, and I click it and then I select YouTube. Now, if I try and go through YouTube, and I've got the software up, and I say go try and get it to connect to that piece of software from YouTube to XSplit, it doesn't do it for some reason. It just I get the wheel of doom, and then when I come to XSplit, it seems to, I put the same key in and it seems to go back that way. So I don't know. If you fail the test, you spend the rest of your days waiting for the stream to come back. Yes. It's fine, no worries. Brian. Hey guys, how are you doing? Johnny, James, Brian. Who else we got here? Lead Magnet, Joao. Good to see you. Blue Eye Geek, Todd. Dragon Shadow, hello, got sidetracked. Oh yes, I read that already. Good to see you guys. Nice to be here at the start. I haven't been able to get here early all the time due to work. Well, that's part of the reason why I'm doing these later now. So it's a bit easier for people, hopefully. That's the theory. So whether that is the case or not, I think we've had some general positive feedback about it. Kasak, I'm working as always, but nice to hear you in the background. Well, nice to be in the background and you hearing me. I haven't had time to look through all of the potions in the latest rules tables. Well, I've added 4 potions before, but there are some additional potions which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And been overworked, but fully through all the critical mass projects. Might get time to game some this weekend even, I hope, lol. Todd, you sound like you work too hard and you don't sleep enough, mate. So I don't know, how do you exist? How do you operate? I mean, you must have some special kind of battery. You only run on about 3 hours sleep, as far as I can tell. Hey Turtle Go. Yeah, so it's been a big week. It has been a big week. We've tumbled out of June into July, and it's the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, all you Americans out there. And it's just sort of careered through. But I was able to get all the levels done partly thanks to Clive's speediness, his ability to go through the text for me so that I can then put it into the tables. We got all the tables done by the end of June. And I was kind of driving myself to do that because, I felt like I owed people that much. And yes, we have some other stuff coming that is still part of those books. But at least people can, if they want to, with the now the version 1 rules which are out there, which have been thoroughly kind of looked over, and the fine-tooth comb has gone through those, so I'm feeling good about it. I think there might be one or two, maybe one page error, but I don't know whether that's been caught. So we have the full version rule, the full rules, they're all there, and we have 1 to 10. Now, there is going to be a run-through on the tables this week, so that I can... What day is it today? Yeah, it'll probably be Thursday that I sit down for. I probably need most of the day to go through, because we've had some corrections in from was it, who sent me these? Oh, I haven't written the names on them. Some awesome people. I think it may have been Todd, Javier. Oh, thank you, my friend. Good evening to you. Johnny, Amazeballs, exactly. Michael Gaskin Ack. I was on the other channel waiting. Sorry. I know. Oh, I'm sorry. You have been this from the beginning. I had a problem. I thought I'd be fancy and schedule it, and because someone was telling me how to do it, and I was like, this is it. This is the future. And then, of course, when I got my software up and I tried to connect it wouldn't connect to YouTube. And then when I went live, it launched a second video. So I'm going to have to go back and delete that one off my channel. And it's probably, must confess, with the onset of non-winter, I've been spending more time outdoors. Okay, cool. Well, that is one of the things that I wanted 2D6 to be, is a game you can play outdoors. So we tick all those boxes. We've got some lovely corrections here. Just a few sort of typo things. That's going to be run through on the codex. And then we have got as you can see on screen here, we've got the stretch goal tables. Now these are basically, when we had when we were doing the Kickstarter and it just suddenly went crazy, I put in more stretch goals, and then just this huge long list, and each stretch goal was a table that would add optional content to the game. Little did I know at the beginning that would become quite an extensive list of tables, and we'll briefly go through that now. This is text that needs to be checked, by the way. So it's incomplete. There's be errors in it, so don't take this as sacrosanct. Clive's going to look through it, and then once it goes into the codex, then it's probably going to need a bit of revision, maybe a week to pass. So then we'll have the codex finished maybe in another week, and then we'll be in a position to print, which will be brilliant. And I'll give you an update on the Kickstarter when that happens. Scheduling is helpful, James says, since we can get a reminder, notifications, but if the system has trouble, maybe it's not so great. Yeah, I know. Well, I suspect the trouble is probably me, to be honest, James. Okay, so how to use these optional tables. Several useful tables follow that were stretch goals in the original campaign. These pose options for particular situations, such as encountering a dead end or discovering a secret compartment in a chest. They are not compulsory or core rules, but are official optional tables that can add more narrative, fun, and loot. It is recommended not to overuse these as there are limited entries and it may become repetitive to do so. Throwing 1 or 2 in per level would work nicely. Each table has a short description of when they might be used in the game. These are guidelines, but feel free to use them as you wish. It is recommended to use these tables for levels below level 6. So these are going at the back of the table's codex. God, I look all shiny and bright. I apologise. Especially seeing my t-shirt is black. I'm like a disembodied head floating above 2d6 dungeon. So we have Adventurer Infected. You fight an undead at the end of the combat. To increase difficulty, you can choose to roll on this table. Now, this is adding a bit of spice to the game. So you've got some examples of scratches and infections. We've got an adventurer near death. Can be applied when you are 1 or 2 HP, not during combat though. This table is very much about recovery rather than death and gives you more of a fighting chance when up against it. Roll 2d6 for this table. Are all these optional tables intended for levels 1 to 5, or are there ones for higher levels too? Well, the thing is, you can use these at any level, but the thing that is a problem is the themes for the higher levels start to get in the way of this type of stuff. So you've got more bosses on the higher level, so you may not need to feel like you need to increase the difficulty. You may already be struggling, so you may decide that these additional tables that make it harder aren't necessarily a good thing. You may find that there are less dead ends, there are less situations where you can roll on these tables. So there are reasons why I say that, and I might abbreviate that based upon people's feedback. So they're less kind of applicable above level 6. More like 1 to 6. They're more workable. I throw other stuff in from level 6 onwards. There's additional rules at the front of some of the levels, so it varies. So we've got the adventurer near death, as I was talking about there. For example, you roll 7. Grucader looks upon you with pity. You may spend 1 Grucader favour point to heal 2 HP. You can spend as many favour points as you have. So there's options coming, and all the gods offer you that. So I've used these tables as well to tie the gods in a bit more. Sorry, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Non-alcoholic wine. I used to dislike it, but now I've kind of grown used to it. Okay, another one. Cave-in event can be applied when there are signs of damage to the room you just entered. This will be in the room description. Encounter anything in the room space first and then roll for the cave-in. Roll 2d6. So it may be an ominous sound greets you as you explore the room. It is too late. You are struck by some rubble, lose 2 large items and 4 HP. Or, a more positive thing, the wall topples over, pulling some of the ceiling down after you find a concealed compartment in the wall. Roll on SECT1. Or Johnny says here, maybe the gods could each come with a quirk, a condition to their healing of your wounds. Like you must make a sacrifice on the level, or they will take away the health. Or with the healing, one god might make you smell of something. Yeah, so one of the things that I plan to do is, and Johnny, you're on the ball, because I want to do some collaborative writing in a minute. So if people are up for that with some ideas, that would be really cool. So keep that creative process churning. And one of the things with one of the expansions is we're going to have a section on magic, and I think there will be some of that will cover the gods in a bit more detail. Maybe something, as you say, something that is about the gods. Hopefully, by the time people have gone through the dungeon, they'll kind of understand what the gods are about a bit more, and they will have a feeling of what those gods, their quirks are, you know. So that's where I'm hoping we'll get to, so that people can kind of decide that for themselves to a certain extent. Dungeon Inspector, yup. I've got a definite lack of shoring for the ceiling here. Gonna have to condemn this dungeon. Infernal cultists. Damn you, infernal cultists. Yes. So there are a range of things going on here. Michael, are you considering making this a system where people can take this and make their own tables? I mean, nothing prevents this now, but will you market it in this way? Yes, I am. Once it goes live, there will be, in the tables codex, there will be an open license section. I think I'll probably put that in saying, feel free, you can use the tables, you can use the system to create your own tables and publish that as an expansion for 2D6. As long as 2D6 is credited and I'm credited for the creation of the system, then it'll be an expansion for this game. So that's kind of where I hope to see it go. So people can write their own tables. That'll be fantastic. And you know, I'm really excited about that because I've written all this stuff. So when I explore it, I know it. You know, I'm entering my own brain, but it'd be beautiful to be able to enter other people's thoughts and ideas about this. So I want to be able to explore dungeons that have been written by other people. I mean, next year, I'm going to be, I'm projecting, we're already starting to sort of plan things out a little bit, but next year, I want to be in a position where we can do a sort of Space Hulk version, 2D6 spaceship or 2D6 sci-fi Space Hulk, where you explore a Space Hulk and I write all the experiences that you would do experiencing that. But that's just down the line a little bit because we want to do like an expansion first, the Overland expansion. So it would be great to have a table template like a Photoshop file or a PDF. Exactly. Johnny, that's the plan. It's going to be like a kit. I think I'll do like a kit file so people can take that and then fill it. Yeah, so there's exciting things ahead. Right, let's look at the next one. So we have a cave-in event, but then for some reason I decided that we'd have a cave-in rescue. Can be applied when you find a dead-end room and there has been no creature encounter in the space. Encounter the room before rolling. Roll 2d6 to this table. So, for example, 4, you spot an arm and shift a load of rocks, but it is one of your foes, and with their last action, they slice you with a knife. Lose 4 HP. So there's another example. Or something more positive. There is a person trapped here. They are badly injured. If you have some bandages, they survive and escape. Liberate 1 prisoner. So this is, again, another example of a table that is completely up to you if you want to use. For creative licensing, worth looking at the Open RPG Creative, yes, Orc license drafted by Pizzo. Most of the hard work done for you. Yeah, exactly. I'm also going to look at the way that Borg do their license. So it's going to be probably very similar layout to what they have. You have to take a bit of text and put it into the design, and there'll be some description there pretty much using their words as well. So it's going to be, it won't be like just a take everything and use it type license. There'll be something specific about it, but you know, as most of these things are. But I'm not a lawyer. I need to sit down and have a look at the stuff, and then we'll put that in there. But I'm excited about experiencing other people's writing and the other adventures that people can create through this table system. So the next one, closet spaces, can be applied when there is a 2x2 space on the map next to a room. A 2x2 space must be completely surrounded and considered a void on the map. Draw a 2x2 room adjoining the room. It is a closet large enough to walk into. Roll 2d6 for this table. Maybe that might need a bit of rewording, that one. So, an example. 3. You open the doors to an empty space. To this empty space to a thrum. Roll a d6 and add your shift. On a 6 or lower, the dart hits you. Lose 4 HP. Or something a bit more positive. There is a storage space of some kind. On a shelf is some wrapped cheese, game on ration, and a potion. Roll on pot 2. So there's a... so obviously with the lower numbers, it's a negative effect. Largely, not all the tables are necessarily like that. And then in the middle, it's more common effects. And then towards the higher numbers, you have better effects. Creature near death can be applied when a humanoid creature has been reduced to 0 HP, not a negative total, and is dying. At this moment, they whisper something. This table opens quests. Roll 2d6 for this table. So there's... okay. So there may be some typos in here, James. This is just the proof. This is just the text. It's going to be checked. So there are errors, and they were picked up by Clive when he goes through it. He's looking at it today or tomorrow, probably, hopefully. So we'll see. But yeah, there are maybe a few little things in here. That's a mistake I make sometimes. So here we go. Let's give you a couple of examples. Can't blackmail the baddies. No skeletons in the closets. You never know. There might not be skeletons, maybe something similar. There's some god-based stuff here. Like, I believe in Tuneric, they whisper these words to you as they're dying. I believe in Tuneric. They hand you a symbol of the god as they die. Add Tuneric symbol quest. Next time you are able to make an offering to Tuneric, you offer up the symbol, receive 3 favor points, and complete the quest. That is some reward. 3 favor points is quite big. I'm trying to big up the aspect of the gods in the game. Might be spiders though, spinning a web of lies. Might well be. Another table, dead end event. You see, there's a lot of tables here. Dead end. So people have said to me, is there anything that happens at the dead ends of the passages? And so I threw that into the stretch goals, and here we have it. The dead end event can be applied when you roll a dead end corridor that is 5 squares or longer and have the encounter at the end of the passage. It is not a room, and you do not always have to roll on this table. Roll a 2d6 for this table. You here we go. At the end of the passage, leaning against the wall is a figure. Roll on the level patrol table and face them. So it might be a fight. It may be something just atmospheric. At first you think there is something there, some rubble obscuring your view, but on closer inspection it's nothing. So there may be nothing at the end, but there may be something positive. There is a body at the end. Some poor adventurer has expired. You search the body and find some scarlet or evatus leaves. So there are ways of finding loot maybe in these spots. It might be a good way of getting access to some more herbs, some treasure, some scrolls maybe, or picking up a quest. So another table, dead prisoner quests, can be applied when you come across a dead prisoner, either through rolling on a table or in the description of the room. There is a note on the body. Encounter anything in the room space first, and then roll. I should say, and then roll, but that will be picked up. So here we go. I'm missing number 4 here. I didn't realise that. Okay, we're missing a quest. Here we go. The parchment shows 3 runes. Add 3 rune quests. These are magical runes, and if placed on an altar and blood is poured over it, will enchant 1 piece of armour. You will become blooded through the ritual. Roll on ENAT1. So there's ways of getting your armour enchanted. The note talks of some stolen jewellery. Add jewellery stash quest. When you come across a fountain, roll on D6. 1 to 3, you find a hidden ledge beneath, and on it a collection of jewellery worth 5d6 gold coins. Otherwise, you keep checking until they are found. So it's little points to sort of look out for, little tasks that can be kind of woven through the adventure, and just give a little bit extra, a little bit of story, a little bit of narrative, you know, just thrown in there. Forced vision can be applied when you face a creature who appears to have some form of mental or psychic power. You can see this via their attacks or description. Roll on this table if they are near death, viewing it as a way for them to recover. This makes the fight harder. So you may find that things are a bit easy. You want to add a bit of spice. And so, for example, you roll 5, bright flashing lights surround your vision, making it difficult to see, but also painful to witness. Lose 2 HP and miss the next round. So you're fighting someone with a bit of psychic power, and they project a vision into your mind to distract you or pain you. It could go the other way. The foe attempts to make itself invisible to your mind, but you see through the mental camouflage and deliver the killing blow. So there is a way it sort of turns around. We have the God intervention table. Now this one is quite interesting. It adds might prolong your character's explorations if they die, if they encounter a mortal fight and they get struck down, and so this table can be applied when you've received the killing blow from an enemy or have failed your recovery from unconscious roll. This is a last-ditch attempt to save your adventurer. The god reaches down and helps or looks on with pity. Roll 2d6 for this table. This is probably one of my favourite tables out of the new ones. So you roll 2, so not good. As you stumble backwards, blood pouring from your wound, and look up and see, you see the anger of Muratani as a great beast appears and consumes you. The pain runs through your body. Roll 4. As you feel death is near, you look around, your foe before you, and there is in Tuneric, a swirling black mass who consumes you both. Then it can be something that isn't necessarily as impacting, but there are more options here for salvation. So on 7, which is obviously the easiest roll to make when you're rolling 2d6. As you feel unconsciousness surround you, there should be another U in there. You see the glimmer of a flickering light. A divine power gifts you one more time, and you stand ready for another round. Gain 10 HP. You are kind of risen. As you take the killing blow, you welcome death. Instead, a god reaches down and restarts your heart. You have 5 HP, and as you stand, your foe is struck by an electric bolt and loses 10 HP. The gods favour you. And as you take the last blow, you feel unconsciousness overtake you, and in the darkness, you see Neverzator guiding you to the light. You wake, roll, and rise with half your HP restored, plus 2 favour points. So there's a drama. There's a kind of, it takes me back to Jason and not Jason, Clash of the Titans, where Perseus he's the gods reach in and they grant favours, don't they? And they kind of shift people to different locations. There's that sneaky bit where who is it playing one of the gods, a famous actor? Come on, who's playing the famous actor? Is it Laurence Olivier? Or it's someone like that. It's someone really highbrow in a Ray Harryhausen monster film, and he moves Perseus off the island onto the mainland. Oh, Marlon Brando. Thank you. Yes. No, it's Marlon Brando. Yes. Yeah, that's right. And he kind of just shifts him across, doesn't he? Or something like that. He's not supposed to. And I can just see the gods reaching down a bit like that. Gracada reaching down and having an effect, and kind of playing with these heroes. Okay, so the next one's called Innate Power. Can be applied when you face a humanoid enemy and who is losing too easily. They have had some bad rolls or suffering a mighty injury. At this point, they dig deep and call upon some innate power that is totally unexpected. So, for example, the creature, the worst one, you roll a 2. After all, he is the Godfather. I see what you did there. 2. The creature for a second writhes as it mutters something, and suddenly a lightning bolt shoots from its hand. You lose 20 health points. The creature seems to shudder as armor plates appear across its skin. -2 extra damage from any hits on the foe. So the creature gets a benefit. Yeah. Sort of a second wind effect. It gives you, if you're like, oh god, I've had a really tough time. My character's not doing very well in the dungeon. And he gets to a fight, and he's got quite a few god points. You feel like he may pull in a favour, and the god just reaches down, and is like, right, yeah, you've got a break here. So you roll on that. So innate power. The creatures. Oh, for this particular one here, the second. Yes. So these monsters get a second wind. Yes, if that's what you mean, James. Infernal Cardinal on the ropes. Summon Teletubbies. No, Todd. I never quite know what to expect. You pull back, hold a hand to their. They pull back and hold a hand to their head and heal themselves for 15 HP. They miss a round of combat also. Or the creature's arms splay wide as a large tentacle rips through its chest, killing them. It lashes you and falls limp. Lose 5 HP. The god comes down and says, yeah, all right. In my head, he sounds exactly like Ricky Gervais. Yes, absolutely. The god. Ricky Gervais. Mushroom consumption. I think some of you might like this one. You consume this is applied. You find a mushroom through searching a space, or it is turned up as some loot. Not all mushrooms are the same and can have different effects good and bad. All right, so we have a you roll 5. You consume the mushroom and feel dizzy. Next combat, -1 shift. It wears off after. 3. The mushroom tastes foul and makes you feel sick instantly. It was a mistake. Lose 10 HP. Surprised, you see the room grow bigger and feel elated. Energy pulses through you. Gain 20 HP. The god comes down. Right, I've read that already. You feel a deep knowledge wash over you. This was a sacred food. Roll on GOT1 and gain 2 favour points for that god. So some of it's kind of, again, we're knitting in the gods and some powers and some psychedelic stuff. Secret rooms. So there's a secret room. Can be applied when, like the closet spaces table, the space for the room must be completely surrounded and considered a void on the map that cannot be accessed. Generate the dead end room as normal on a new exit for the room. So, do you know, like we get like a, we get a void, if you like, in the map. I was thinking, what can we do with that? What options have we got? So I thought, let's have a way of filling it, you know, a way of using that space if you want to use it. You don't have to. Oh, it was Laurence Olivier in Clash of Titans. Oh, was it? Oh, I was right. Why was I thinking that Marlon Brando was alright? I don't know. I was just doubting myself. It was Laurence Olivier. Ah, there you go. Well, I take that brownie point away from you, I'm afraid. Superman, yes, Superman films, exactly. That's probably exactly what it was. Okay, let's go with secret rooms. So you can find secret crypt, secret laboratory, secret resting post, pantry, storage, quarters, portal. So one thing I have introduced is portals back to the town, so that occasionally you can find one, so there's another chance of going back. Secret cookie stash, cookie jar marked property for the Netherlord, do not touch or else. You said it. Okay, cool. So that's all the tables. They're going to be looked at, and the spelling or typos are going to be picked up by our Clive, which is going to be fantastic. There we go. Brilliant stuff. So the next thing I want to look at is with you guys here. I want to be able to do a little bit of writing. Let me just have a look here. Just want to see if this changes. I'm just producing the amount of white on the screen. Oh, it did change it. Okay. Potion of befuddlement. Quick question, and no worries if you want to answer later. Looking up tables can take some time. Any idea if you're planning on putting them into some sort of database? That is a good question. Adding color coding. We have talked about it before. It comes down to partly my own fault. Partly I just didn't appreciate the kind of numbers that would be involved with the project. I put the text that you just saw into a Photoshop image. So the Photoshop into a Photoshop image that then saves as a TIFF file, which cannot be searched, if you like. So it has created a bit of a problem. It's a bit of a project for somebody to do, potentially. We will see. I haven't ruled it out. I can't see myself doing it. It's weird because I'm stupid. With all the technology that we have, I just envisioned this game as being something you would play with pencil and paper and a hard copy. I hadn't imagined people flipping through tables on their iPad. How stupid is that? They could be turned into web app sort of thing. Yes, it's just a lot of data entry, but the Excel coding for it would be simple, really. It would be. And again, it's a lot of data entry. The subsequent tables, the later tables, we have the Word text, the Word documents form. So we could use that. And it could be done. But again, I think at the moment my time is better directed in other ways. So we are, if driven by a back end such as WordPress, it would be easy to search. Yes. Yeah, I know. It is a difficult one to do. I mean, it's kind of like a lot of admin, and it's a bit raw. I'm still, as you can tell, I'm still kind of thinking about it and letting it process and thinking to myself, where's the future for this? How's it going to work in the format wise? As far as I'm concerned, I'm just going to carry on producing it the way I do. It just fits my lifestyle. It fits how I like to do things. I like to have them in a Photoshop document because I like the layering. I like the designing side of it. Whereas when I go into Excel, it looks all very formulaic and I don't see it as easily. And so it is tricky. James says, I suppose something might help for people playing on a device. I think it's less of an issue if you're playing with a printed book, but maybe that's just me. I mean, I agree. I mean, I cannot wait. I've decided that I'm not going to print off all the tables myself. I'm not really in a position to afford, I'm going to get lots of printed copies, so there's no point me printing this out now. I cannot wait to get the tables codex in my hands and have the physical copy there, so that when I'm sitting down with my maps, drawing and doing my maps and my dungeons, I've got the physical copies I can flick through. It's just going to be, that's the tactile nature of it for me, and I love that side of it. I do understand the people who use tablets. I think that's fantastic. I'm just not. I find it awkward. It's like if you watch Matthew Colville. He's obviously he's a big player in the D&D module side of things, and they're doing their own game now, which is great. And he often talks about how he likes to use PDFs and flip through them that way, and I never do that. I love having the book. For me, it's about having the book and having that physical experience. And that's why people collect them, and as far as I'm aware, I mean, Johnny, how do we decide on the binding? Yeah, it's a true bind. So it's designed to be flicked, not to be laid open. None of these books are designed to be laid open. The rules book is going to be thin enough to open out, but they're all designed to be flicked from one page to the next. So that is how I envisioned it. And the best way to do that is not have a spiral bind, just to have a true bind, so that it's got tension on itself. So when you've got the book, you can flick it, and you can get to the page quickly. Johnny says it's the sort of book that you might like to keep open at a certain page, so the spiral bound might be a good option for this. People are listen. We've had a few people ask about spiral bound. The reality of it is, not a lot of people collect spiral bound books. A lot of big players like them because they're good, but they're actually, they don't look good on shelves. They're kind of, I find them a bit awkward, and I've had people problems with spiral binding and with the postage and the packaging. They get damaged. There's lots of things within that spiral bound that people forget. They look towards that. Yes, it's nice to be able to lay things flat, but the reality of it is you're kind of flicking through these books rather than laying them out. That's how I envisage it anyway. And people can, I envisage bookmarks in my future. Indeed. Yes, some people have ordered the bookmark, so that is well on the way. Now we've got the game complete, the bookmark is going to be refined and exactly how we see. Because it's a print and play, you can send it to a printer and get it spiral bound, and I'm sure we'll see some great examples of that, and maybe that will be a deciding factor. Maybe I'll look at that and give that as an option for the expansion. But at the moment, it's kind of we've kind of veered towards not having the spiral bound. Scott, good to see you. Welcome in. Ithacus Bane, good to see you, my friend. I hope it's not too early out there in Indonesia. Is it Indonesia? Or Malaysia? Right. So, what we're going to do is what I'm thinking is Javier, but fill them automatically from data sources. Sorry, message got split. Sorry, Javier, I missed that there. Javier, the gods come down. Yes. And there would be bookmarks, and I'm going to do some other bookmarks as well. So 6 a.m. needs coffee. That's not so bad. Not so bad, because I know you've jumped in quite early. 3 a.m. I think was last time. Right. So we have got here. These are the last 3 tables on the screen here. The last 3 tables that need to be written. They are rare potions, rare scrolls, and rare medical remedies. So my thoughts were, that this would be something that could be thrown in when you get to roll for a potion of a high level. Potion of fleet-footedness allows you to move quickly during combat, but boosts HP due to tiredness. Right, I'm going to write that down on there. Potion of fleet-footedness. Now, one of the easiest, wouldn't that be stamina, or shift points? So, potion of fleet-footedness. Within the potions, we have potion of speed burst. That's +2 free swings at the start of 1 entry combat. So, the question is, Andy, welcome by the way, allows you to move quickly during combat, but costs up HP due to tiredness. Is it obvious to have a full health potion restore HP to max, Oh. Oh. That is a good question. Potion of full health. Is that what you call it? I think the fleet-footedness one is a good one. But we do have a speed burst potion. So you've got to like consider what is that a different enough? We'll leave it up there for the moment. Potion of befuddlement. Now, John, let me just put a little thing here. I'm just going to put Andy there next to that one. Good job, Andy. James next to the fool. Might that be better as a scroll? Which one? Potion of fleet-footedness. Scroll of fleet-footedness. What, the fleet-footedness or the full health? The healing side of things has been largely potion side, which is kind of a bit traditional. Surging health. There is a surging health, plus 20 health points. That is quite expensive. The befuddlement one. Scroll of befuddlement, yes. Scroll of befuddle. Scroll of befuddlement. Who suggested that one? Johnny. Johnny Morris. Wasn't there a TV presenter called Johnny Morris? Do you know Johnny Morris? Maybe it's a trick potion. You want befuddlement to affect the opponent, so not quaff it. Good animal magic. Yes. And he had his finger bitten off, didn't he, by an otter? Oh no, that was a different guy. Is that the same guy? Scroll of shrinking. Target's armor and clothing shrink 3 sizes doing 12 points of damage and nullifying armor interrupts. Scroll of shrinking. Yep, definitely. Put that one in there. Nice one. Scroll of shrinking by Todd. So I like the targets. I'm going to slightly reduce it there. Targets 1 piece of armor on the enemy, if on the creature, if they are on a humanoid. I'm going to put a humanoid enemy. Shrinking it. This is just rough, okay? Just notes. Causing. Let's do. It's going to be more like 6 health points. They were kind of nullifying the armor interrupt. There we go. We do have a melt metal scroll, which is called scroll melt metal that can destroy 1 piece of armor. I feel like this shrinking thing should be aimed at a body part, maybe, or body part. I'm going to put that there. So it could be their arm that shrinks down to a small size. That adds a little bit of humour as well, which is not a bad thing. I mean, you could. James says, I mean, you could throw potions, but potions affect you, and the scrolls affect. Exactly, James. You're right. Yes, it very much how I've designed it. Potions you take into yourself. There are some that I have a new one which I've added, which affects the opponent only because of the way you have been affected, though. And the scrolls very much project outwise, and I've taken that sort of it's sort of classic OSR type stuff. Scroll of Ethereal. You become very difficult to hit for 2 rounds of combat due to being ghost-like. Okay, so that would be potion, I think. Potion of Ethereal Visage. Or something like that. You become difficult to hit. It's a bit like we've got prowess. We've got potion of prowess, potion of speed. We want some kind of out of the way ideas. I'm going to leave that one in there. Johnny, thank you for that. Or each opponent, maybe that's the better wording. Definitely. So, potion of giant, giantism. It might not be of giant size. You grow to double your height and cause double damage for 1 combat. Scroll of Rain. Enemy is shrouded in a cloud that bursts and fumbles in the wet. Scroll of Rain. We don't really have a fumble mechanism. They could minus shift. Oil of Repair restores. Here we go. Good. We've got a remedy here. Oil of Repair. Oil of Repair. That's a good one. Todd restores 1 damaged or destroyed piece of armor to new condition. Okay, I like it. Stores 1 damaged or destroyed. I think it's going to have to be 1 damaged. If it's destroyed, it's beyond recovery. Piece of armor to a new condition. It's a magical oil. Brilliant. I like that one. Like a comical rain cloud over their head. I see what you're thinking. I see what you're saying, but I don't know whether I hate to say this, Johnny, but I don't know whether that would really hinder them. And when the wily coyote gets the storm cloud over his head, he just looks pissed off, don't you think? Rather than, I'm going to fumble my sword before I kill you, Roadrunner. Lightning. Neil, lightning. So we have a scroll of we have a scroll of lightning as it happens. Lightning strike it's called. So that is a great idea. We've already got it though. Krista N4's hello, greetings and salutations. Greetings from Sweden. Todd, go for the ACME anvil instead. Yes, you're right. Javier, potion of fuzzy feeling. Against a beast, roll a d6 on even, remove the beast from combat and get a temporary fairy companion that does +2 damage on your next combat roll. Javier, you're taking it to the next level, my friend. Potion of fuzzy feeling. I don't know. I really don't know what to say to that. Or encounter in case it was the only enemy. We haven't got rules for companions yet. Do you hate it? No, I love it. I love it, honestly. Wade, how you doing? Maybe something that affects enemy sight and they lose a round or 2 of attack. Okay, that's a good one. I like that. Oh, who did the oil repair? That was Todd, wasn't it? Put that on there. Right, I like this one here. I'm going to say blinding ointment. I'm going to put it in... I'm going to put that in... the rare medical remedies. Now, maybe that's the wrong place to put it, but it could be something you splash. Made you laugh. I'll take the win. It did. Maybe companions will be. Yes, they will be. We are going to have a companions expansion, so that is definitely on the way. Maybe something that affects the enemies. That's Wade. I'm going to give you a bit of a credit there, Wade. Thank you for that. Nice one. I'm going to have to think about that one. How does that work? There's a potion bomb that blinds. Good call. Good call, Brian. Many people have quite specific ideas. Mine are more general. Well, that's just how we rock, I guess. Golden elixir removes 1 abnormal condition. Blooded, soaked, infected. Yeah, we have a powder that is drying powder. Crushed dicoma stems and ilias petals create a light powder that absorbs water quickly, requires a container, removes soak status, and then there's sterilizing powder which removes the blooded status. So it's a little bit close to that, but I do like the idea of a golden elixir. And in fact, we'll put that down here. Golden elixir, and I'll have a think about that. I'll have a think about how maybe that might be true. I'm guessing others play more RPGs and similar games than I do. Too, thus have more to draw from. Well, you know, listen. For me, writing, creating stuff, I draw from everything in my life. So obviously there's a lot of RPG stuff in my background and gaming and stuff like that, but also I draw from my own experiences, traveling, people I know, stories I see on the news. everything absorbs in. I'm a receptacle for experience and knowledge and ideas. Now, a lot of that kind of becomes filtrated and lost, and maybe I subconsciously refer to it. But I'm interested in who you are and what you can give me, in a sense. As you see this task, something's going to trigger in your brain, and you're going to be like, oh, that might be quite a nice thing to have, and that'll be based upon your own experiences, and that's completely valid. Completely valid. I've been playing and writing my own D&D stuff since the 3 Little White books after Chainmail. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been playing D&D since the Red Box set. Scroll of Sharing Caring. You and a single opponent swap weapons or armor. Player chooses. Not sure if that would incur too much issues with rules, though. Wow. Scroll of Sharing Caring. Wow. That is, Scott, that my brain is kind of like, whoa. How would I apply something like that to the game's rules? How would I do that? We have one weapon throughout the whole game, so that wouldn't work because you're kind of focused on the one weapon. You could steal their interrupts. Ooh, that is a great idea, Johnny. You and Scott would only last for a single encounter. Yes, that is probably what Scott meant, in the sense, okay, that is a whole nother thing that we haven't used in the game, stealing other people's interrupts. But you could take an interrupt for that round and put it with your selection, if you like. You'd have to mentally note it. All right, we're on to something here. Let's have a look. So what did we call that one? Sharing Caring, which led to Johnny's comment. I think Scroll of... Scroll of Thieving Trait. That's a working title. Scroll of Thieving Trait. Wow. There we go. We're going to put Scott and Johnny combo here. Just saw astral projection. That is interesting. So let me just make a note of this here. Steal a maneuver from an enemy for a turn, for a combat. That's really got me. That's great stuff. Steal a maneuver from an enemy for one combat. Now I put that as a scroll. I think there has to be a scroll. Astral projection. Right, I'm a little bit behind on the chat here. I will catch up. So scroll, astral projection. What would that be? Astral projection. Potion of astral projection. You drink it. You drink it and have an outer body experience. And then something happens along those lines there. Vampiric effects. Right. Javier's coming with Scroll of Fake God. When you encounter a god, use this to temporarily gain the visage of the god yourself, confusing them into giving you some fine items from X rare loot table. Right, I like this idea, okay. But I see it happening slightly differently. Scroll of the fake god. You take on the visage of a god, and the enemy withers. Let's go with withers. Okay. And just give Javier's Javier there. Nice. I like your thinking. Rare medical remedies. We've got to put some more golden elixir. Now, well, that's going to be something. Right. Potion of Witcher. Cassack. Okay, I like this idea. Potion of... it's got to have a different... Of whirlwind. You get 2 attacks per turn. Wow, per round. That's powerful. That is very powerful for one combat only. That is a really good one. Let's put you down there, Cassack. I like that one. Get 2 attacks every turn. Swapping. Potion of mind bending. Trait steel. Johnny. Potion of treacle foot. Enemies' feet are engulfed by a thick, sticky substance which hampers their interrupt ability. We've got potions that cause that type of interrupt. But it could be scroll of treacle ray. Scroll of treacle ray. Johnny. A blast of treacle hits the enemy. Null and voiding one of its interrupts. I will rephrase that. I cannot spell again. There we go, that will have to do. Null and voiding one of its interrupts. That's a... I'm not sure exactly how to use astral projection. It just seems like it could hit as a rare item. I like the idea of astral. Drink it and have an outer body experience. So maybe you get an insight into the room, and you add +1 to your room search. +1 to room search. Doesn't all have to be about combat. Vampiric feels more like it would be a magical weapon. We don't really. I've kind of avoided having vampires, the term vampire, in the game. So that is kind of because it has a different folklore, a different feel, and it drags in a whole bunch of stuff. We do have life force feeders in the game. I've forgotten what I called it. It's somewhere along there, but kind of similar to a vampire, but not the vampire. You drag so much stuff in with it if you use the term vampire. Well, if you scroll up, I had Potion of Impressive Visage. You suddenly take on the impressive presence of the enemy's worst enemy. Okay, we've got the God Visage, which I think fills that one, Johnny. Dragon Shadow. Scroll of Wonder. Roll a d6 for effect. Some are good, some are bad. 1 radiant lights. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Scroll of Wonder with 6 options. So it doesn't necessarily have a specific outcome. I like your thinking. Dragon Shadow on there. Nice work. So we don't necessarily have right, so 6 outcomes. 1 radiant lights, blind target. 6 outcomes. Okay. The only problem is that might not fit into the space that I have for the scrolls. One of the problems is with when you're doing any sorts of tables, you want to kind of talk about these things and give them great descriptions, but the reality of it is you want to try and keep a consistency with the amount of text you write for your descriptions, and you don't kind of too much, because the book would be 200 pages rather than 100 pages, and then it just doesn't become viable. So it has a massive knock-on effect. So I'll have to think about that, but I do like the thought of having different outcomes. Javier, okay, just like an insta-kill, I was thinking it'd be fun to have more things that are combat related. Oh, absolutely. There are a fair few combat related things here. It just tends to be the thing we go to. If it's something else, then that's awesome. Maybe that's not as common a term as I thought, but I'm familiar with vampiric effects being ones that steal from the enemy to give to you. It was mainly just a remark. And James, that is totally fine. You know, it's just people tend to go, if you use vampiric or vampire or Dracula or anything like that, people tend to just assume stuff. You're right. It is vampiric is about taking, but it's about feeding, isn't it, really? Brian Van Beek, how are you doing, my friend? I probably said that wrong, I'm sorry. Late to the stream. Hello everybody, welcome in. Hi Brian. Misalinga doll, anointed with the owner's blood, will absorb 30 damage for 1 fatal attack. That, Todd, that is brilliant. Now, I like that. I like that a lot. It feels... This feels like a great idea. I feel like it brings in a different sort of feel, a kind of almost like a voodoo type sense to it. I'm going to put it down in the medical remedies. This is obviously something, this is refers to something, doesn't it? I'm sure that sounds familiar to me. Anointed with the owner's blood. Will absorb. I'm going to do it slightly. I'm going to put down there 20 damage, because you don't often get 30 damage. Or 1 fatal attack. I did slightly misread that. That's awesome, and that will be maybe some kind of herbs mixed in with that as well. Nice one. Area of effect scrolls. Something that would do X damage to each and every opponent in the room. Excellent. 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 An area... Let's call it Scroll of Sudden Blast. A hot wind does all the enemies... 15 HP damage. This is a really good point, James. I don't have many magical items that affect multiple creatures within a space. That is a really good point. Thank you. That is a very insightful comment. Thank you. So we just call it Sun Blast. Maybe I'll come up with a different name for that. Scroll of Swap Shop. We'll have to test its power level. It could be OP in certain situations, so maybe the enemy gets the benefit of something the creature has. Well, that's what we were talking about, isn't it? So we had the... Steal a Maneuver. Scroll of Thieving Trait. If we called it the Scroll of Swap Shop. Now, Scott, you have to be of that generation that knows the Noel Edmonds Swap Shop. I mean, you have to. I mean, I remember it very keenly. You were raised in the UK, I believe. It would be hence the swap idea, an armor piece or attack maneuver, for example. Thus, the player cannot benefit from the item for that combat. Yeah, I mean, we've kind of, I think we've called that one. Binding Vines could do the same thing as the treacle. Could do. Treacle Ray. Blast of treacle hits the enemy, null and voiding one of its interrupts. I quite like the Blast of Treacle. I quite like the idea of the treacle. Something a bit different. These are rarer scrolls. Or call it Scroll of Goo. What do you think, Brian? Scroll of Goo or Scroll of Treacle Ray? What's your thoughts? Goo or treacle? It could be Scroll of Treacle. Scroll of Betrayal. I'm a little bit behind on the thing here. I'm trying to catch up with everything. Scroll of Betrayal makes two monsters attack each other. Yeah, I'm kind of avoiding the... I hear what you're saying. Now, I've thought about how monsters interact. At the moment, with this base game, I've kept it very straightforward. The creatures do not attack each other at the moment when you're facing them. The reason why I say this is because what is your character going to do in that point? So, are you going to attack that creature that is attacking the other creature? And then, when the other creature that's being attacked by his colleague is killed, the one that's left over, is he then going to attack you? There are other things kind of hovering around that, which make it slightly confusing. I think that's something I might look at with the expansion. How the monster, more to do with how the monsters work, maybe potentially. But Andy, I like it. I like your thinking. But if you are out of body, then your physical body is static, which would be a disadvantage to you. Okay. Yes. Out of body is true, but if you cast that spell and no one knew where that you were, maybe behind the door or in the corridor, and you passed it and you had an out of body experience, you might be alright. Leeching is a good alternative. Scroll of leeching, maybe. Javier says, rare remedy, radiant seaweed. You feel gills growing on your neck. If you are wet, you gain +1 shift on the first turn of combat. You lose the gills when you dry up. Fantastic! That is a great rare remedy. Thank you. Let's put that in there. Radiant seaweed. Javier. I'm just writing with the J. Javier. You feel gills grow. Nice. You feel gills growing on your neck. If you are wet, you gain +1 shift on your first turn of combat. I like your thinking. I like the way you thought about that mechanically as well. Very good. You lose the gills when you dry up. Now, I'm just thinking about that. So you gain +1 shift on the first turn of combat. If there is water in the room, I'm going to put it there. And I'm going to make it +2 shift. Because the air is slightly wet, so it gives you extra strength, say, for example. Love that one. Well done, Javier. You wouldn't use an item like that with live enemies around, maybe when they're all dead and or yes, exactly. So it may be that by projecting out you get to see a special vision of the stuff, and things may maybe glow, so you can spot things. Astral projection could let you pass through a locked door. That is a nice idea, Brian. I like that thinking there. Drink it and have an out-of-body experience. +1 to the room search, and you can open one locked door. The key being in the other side. Let's put that like that. Although you might not be able to touch things if you're being projected. We'll see. Well, I'll put that there. Yes. We're going to have to see. I'm going to have to think about that. How do you work that? Jim Seymour, how you doing? Howdy from Calgary, Canada. Brilliant. I'd love to go over there. Good to see you, Jim. But only one way. Door stays locked. Okay. Javier has expanded out that thought. The astral projection has really got you going, guys. I like it. We're getting some little kind of snippets of ideas through the chat. I'm thinking astral projection. Ooh, there's so much going on with that one. Life leech instead of vampiric. Right, yes. That is a good point. Let's put this on here. Where would that be? Someone else has said life leech before. I'm pretty sure, but that is a good scroll. It's going to have to be potion of life leech, I think, actually. Because you cast scrolls at the beginning of a combat, right? And you don't cast them during combat. So you wouldn't... no, you could. Yeah, no, you could. Yeah, no, you could steal some of the opponent's health points and give them to you. I get, yeah. This is good. This is good. Steal. I'm going to rephrase all this. Steal some of... steal 10 HP from your enemy and add it to your own. Nice. That's a good one. I like that. We got it in there in the end, James. The doll is neat, but only really a potion, scroll, or remedy, though. A special item, maybe, instead. I know. I was thinking that. I did think that that's slightly awkward in that position. Which is a shame. Yeah. Who did the scroll of life leech? We got this really kind of a dragon shadow, dragon and James. It's right. Let's have a look here. That's a good idea. Astral projection, so you could peek into a room that you can't unlock to see what's there before going in. Blue-eyed geek, yeah. That's the problem, you see, because we don't have a mechanism game which allows you to do that. You know, because it's very much one room, rather than one room. Know what that room is, but I'll go the other way. So I have to think about how that mechanically fits in. But I'd like the idea of maybe when you astrally project, you can kind of almost use magic to open the door. So you kind of like almost, you're inside the door and you can kind of trigger the mechanism and open it. So I think that's what we're going to do with that one. Todd says it's an anime staple item. Mazinga items are used in several light novels. Yeah, exactly. I thought I knew what that... I thought I'd heard that before. So I have to think about how I'm going to rephrase that. Because we can't use phrases that are used... We can't use, like, Mazinga. We'd have to have a different word for it. So, Todd, think of another word for your doll. And we'll put it, maybe, something in there. Rare scroll of invisibility for 1 turn. Right. So we have Michael. Thank you for that, Daffy. We have magic items. We have a scroll of invisibility already. So you're on the money, but it's there. Scroll of sustenance creates 3 permanent rations. Got to run and take the kids to work. Later, folks. Todd, thanks for your contributions, my friend. Been awesome. Scroll of extra power if used on a Saturday. I like that one. I was wondering about transportation. A potion to zap you out of trouble or send a bad enemy away. Could go either way. Allows some randomness of where they go, etc. Yeah. Again, I like your thinking, but we don't have a mechanic to be able to place a monster in another room. Really, it's kind of not. It's not there, really. There's no way of monitoring it or remembering. You could write it on the thing, but by the time you've gone through 6 rooms, you probably won't know what that means on the map. There are difficulties, innate difficulties with stuff like that. And while wearing a colourful jumper, James, or teleportation, not transportation. Well, I know what you mean. My idea is because you are wet and now you have gills, it's more your element, and thus you are slightly better during combat and slippery. And slippery, right? Like, it's almost as if I make games for a living. Have you? Yeah. I mean, exactly. Yeah. We know. Up there in Scotland. Johnny, this may be a step too far. Scroll of Tiswas. Turn back. Combat 2 turns until all damage done to all combatants. Undo all damage. Wow. I like that idea. Turn back time. Now, weirdly, we can't have equal Tiswas because am I being set up here? Tiswas was a Saturday morning show like Swap Shop was. What is going on with these references? You can't have Tiswas. So scroll of reverse time. But it can't be a scroll because you fire scrolls at the beginning of the combat. So potion. We're gonna have to. I'm gonna leave this one. Because we haven't played with time at all in this game. So no forward in time, backward in time, blah 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 blah. Maybe that is just something that we leave out of the game for the moment. That's just a step too far. But I love it, don't get me wrong. With a locked door though, how do you get your physical body through with you? James is back with the astral projection still. I like it. I like it. Yeah, this is the problem that I have. So what I reckon is when you take your astral form, and the astral form may be something that comes into the expansion a bit, because I quite like the concept of an astral form. So this could go further. That astral form, a bit like do you know, like you see some films where the ghosts can just nudge things a bit. What's that? In Ghost, where they nudge things to sort of, they can push their energy into it. Maybe you can do that when you're in astral projection form, and you can nudge the lock open. That's where we're going with it. Only works with dying flies. What you mean, like with Jeff Goldblum? Maybe it could be a preview of a room or two ahead, like seeing a bit more. Yeah, James, I like the idea, but the thing is, we encounter one room at a time. You wouldn't generate rooms ahead. It just gets too messy. Because ultimately, you might say, I'm not going to go that way, and then so you generate those maps, those rooms, and then you go a different way, and then you look back at your map and think, oh, did I go in those rooms, or did I go in those rooms? I don't remember which rooms I went in. And you can probably make some notes, but it gets really messy. It's a bit weird having a chat discussion that's about 10 minutes off from the live stream. Yes, I am so sorry. I'm trying to keep up with it. What about the potion of mirror image? Drink this potion and your image is replicated 1d6 times. Jim! I like it. I like it a lot. That's going in here. Projects D6 images of yourself for the combat. The enemy must roll a 1 to as well as their hit roll. For example, these will all be slightly reworked, but I like that one. Nice one, Jim. Dragon Shadow ethereal form instead of astral projection allows you to keep body last for 2 rooms, not able to interact or quantum phase. Okay, we're I like it. No, that I can see this is like we're kind of really getting into this ethereal, this form thing. I like it. Good work. Scott says Omega 13 gem. Destroy, smash the gem during combat to turn back time 13 seconds. The encounter never happened. Result, health of character enemies start again. No, I like that one. I like this is fantastic. There is already ethereal visage. There is. We've already put that on there. You become difficult to hit. Yes, you're not wrong, Johnny. For Life Leech, instead of a fixed, it should be, how about a series? I mean, yeah. I mean, I've been thinking a lot about 2d6 damage and 10 HP. I'm thinking with 2d6, you might just roll 4 damage. And if I fix the total of the damage, which I don't always do, what that says is that scroll has a certain power level. So you definitely take 10 HP damage. So that makes it more powerful, which is kind of where my thoughts were going with that Life Leech. It has to be quite a powerful spell. I missed that, Johnny. Been in and out of the room to hear stream. Johnny says, I've missed something here. I've missed a bit. Yes, Tiswas and Swap Shop. I honestly don't know whether you guys purposely put those in because you knew that reference or that was just a complete fluke. Have I missed a link here, Alan? Tiswas was manic. It was. Someone's a fan of Galaxy Quest. Okay. I've missed the reference here. How you doing, Alan? Good to see you. James, you became corporeal, not actually projecting. You become corporeal, not actually projecting. So your body moves, transforms into corporeal form. Saying about time and damage is interesting, but you'd have to keep track of all the damage every individual turn. Maybe not a big deal if you're planning on using it, but worth considering. Exactly. I think there's some mechanical issues. Scott, Johnny, sorry, didn't see your post, your Tiswas and my Omega 13 ideas. Rock. Definitely. Great minds there, eh? Definitely. Some sort of remedy that accelerates healing or gives slow healing for a few rooms visited with no combat. Johnny, I like that one. Let's have... What would it be? A powder paste of slow healing. Because this may change. Heals 5 HP per room for 3 rooms. This is just rough. I will go through this tomorrow morning. Johnny, I like that suggestion. And when I put these in at the back of the book, I will put little creditations at the end of each of these so people can see their suggestion. Hopefully I've got that right. I apologise if I've got that wrong. I also say now I apologise if your suggestion doesn't make it in. It's just because of how the mechanics work and the level that I have to look at the message of the content. You know, how much humour, how serious, how bloody, how gruesome. I have to kind of make that judgment. Instead of astral projection, how about phasing? Kitty Pryde of X-Men. Phasing allows you to pass through walls. It does indeed, Blue-Eyed Geek. Maybe a multiverse expansion to handle all the astral projection, ethereal form stuff. We are not going multiverse. I tell you now, no multiverse. Someone needs to clip that. Nick, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you. I forget. Are there curses in the game? If so, maybe a remedy can be a curse removal. That is a good point. There aren't. No, there aren't curses. But I'm going to write that down. Because I've got to say that curses is an interesting thing that maybe I'll look at for the magic part of the expansion. So curses is written on my lists over here. I have lists. So that is an interesting concept. I like that. Johnny's coming in with a suggestion here. Okay, I'm just going to take a drink before I read this. Johnny's coming with, how about the Mirror Dungeon? You are transported to a new dungeon for 2d6 rooms, then return to the random room in the original dungeon. We're not doing multiverse. Omega 13 was from Galaxy Quest. Oh yes, of course, of course. I knew it was from. I recognised it. I just didn't twig it was Galaxy Quest. Javier, good news chat. I think I managed to add interactive bookmarks to Toby's PDF. It would make it searchable for tablets and PCs. Wow, that would be cool. That's the sort of thing we need on the. Just share it in the on the Facebook tab, maybe on Board Game Geek. No, actually, we've got to be careful because that is the full product. So we don't want to share that if it's all the tables, because only those that were backers and buyers get the full product. So we need to think about that. But you could definitely do it on the free product and see how that works. I don't know, because not everybody's got access to levels 1 to 10. You know, only those that have paid. The awesome crew that have backed this project and made it what it is. Scroll of Phantom Phasing Fairy. Knowing what is on the other side of the locked or jammed door, you can use this scroll to fire upon the monster on the other side, saving roll against the caster's level. That's a whole nother level. What have I created here? It's like a monster. You skipped over my comment on above for the life leech instead of fixing. Oh no, I did. I know, Blue-Eyed Geek. I did say that. I gave the explanation. By fixing it on 10 HP, I've given it a definite strength. Not all of the stuff that I do, I give a roll to. Sometimes I set a specific amount of damage, which says that I know that this particular thing has a particular strength. Whereas if I do the 2d6, you could roll 4 and get off lightly. Whereas you're not going to get off lightly with that one. So that's the reason. Scroll of credit, get your name in the book, has no effect on the game. I like that, Dragon Shadow. Johnny, that would be useful. Lower levels where the creatures thin out. Yeah. I don't know what that's referring to, Brian. Andy. Scroll of soothing music sends monsters to sleep so you can walk past them. Now, Andy, I like your thinking, but the problem that we have is it's managing where the monsters are. So if you picked up 5 of these scrolls, right? Because you have to think about it taken to the extreme. How can you break a mechanism? It's kind of where you want to be when you're trying to understand whether a game works. So if you had 5 of these scrolls and you went from one room to another room, and you had to then each scroll put a monster to sleep. So you had 5 monsters to sleep in 5 consecutive rooms. You got to the last room as a dead end. You had to come back through those 5 rooms. Okay. Because that then becomes complicated, unfortunately, you would then have to write like a couple of paragraphs for that scroll. And I just cannot afford to allocate that sort of column inches to any one item. Or I'd have to make some kind of rule and then refer to the item within the book. And I'm kind of trying to avoid that. I love the idea, and I can see that for a DM that would be exciting to manage. But when you're just a sole person trying to do all this stuff, it could be a problem. I hope that sounds like a decent explanation. Curses could be something you get from your god if you do something against them. Yeah, that is a good point. I put that little note there. God gives out curses, potentially. And you could, within that same kind of ballpark, if you gathered enough favour points, you could spend them and remove the curse that you've picked up, potentially. So there's suddenly the favour points become a currency that you can manage, which may be an interesting way of doing the magic expansion for the next stage. Potion of cheat. You instantly transported to the stairs to the next level, Johnny. Michael's come in, aka Daffy. Try again. How about a rare scroll that will spawn 2d6 number of copies of yourself? It will confuse the heck out of the baddies. Well, I hate to tell you this, but we already have. Jim has already suggested Potion of Mirror Image projects d6 images of yourself for the combat. So he's beat you to that one, Michael. Sorry. Back to the drawing board. It's that image of Wile E. Coyote with the chalkboard doing a plan. But it's a great idea. It's a great idea. Javier, yeah, I would send it to you and you could distribute it. Yes. Definitely. I hear what you're saying. I'm just thinking about the logistics. There's always a logistics side to these things. That's sort of what I was thinking. If the gods can grant favour, maybe they can curse you too, James says. I couldn't remember if that was in the game, and apparently it isn't. No, it isn't. Curses aren't in the game at the moment. But there's something I do like, and I like that idea of the kind of voodoo magic and the dolls, and maybe that'll be a strain of the magic that could be brought into the game. Because one of the things that, if you learnt, say, to make dolls, you may have to gather hemp, some cotton, and some thread. And then that could go together, because those 3 items are in the game already, which is part of what I've been trying to do, trying to load it with objects, so that in future I can use those objects. And then those 3 things, you can make a doll if you had the skills. So with the new characters, but new skills maybe that we have for the expansion, you could make that doll and then create some sort of magic, voodoo magic or curse magic based upon that, potentially. Okay, Johnny says the floor opens up in front of you and reveal a set of steps leading down to the next level. Wow, that would be pretty powerful. Sorry, all the astral related stuff is from my initial suggestion. James said, that's fine. Got to go, see you later. Bye, Blue Eyed Geek. You take care, my friend. Happy rolling. Johnny suggested slow healing when there is no combat. Yes, we put that on there. Paste of slow healing. I think it's a good idea. Heals 5 HP per room, or we could do, I quite like D6 for this one. HP per room for 3 rooms. Yeah, that'll add a definite thing in there. That's the potion of mirror image in the notes, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, it is, yeah. Potion of down shep. Consume to start combat. Gain a spectral hound to assist you. Get +1 shift for X turns, where X equals the number of potions consumed. Oh man, that's too much early morning Saturday TV. I think I need to stop coming in and out of this feed. Just no, bring it on. Just keep looking at the notes. I haven't looked at all the levels, but if there are rooms with statues, perhaps a scroll of Gollum, bring statue to life for next combat. I like that. I like that, Dragon Shadow. Scroll of animate. A statue comes to life. I'll add stuff to this. Statue comes to life and attacks the foe. It would just be like for one swing, and then it collapses and crashes for one swing, causing 3d6 damage. I didn't mean to that question negatively. I was checking that it was the same. Don't worry about it, James. We're all having a bit of a knees up. What things can remedies cure? I can only really think of HP as something that is drained during... Yes, it's true. We've got... Yeah. It's true. There is a certain amount of restriction on that one. Okay. Wow. Just absolutely wow. We've got some fantastic stuff here. Remedy of chamomile lotion. Yes. I might suggest that it must roll a 1, should be out of the number... Yes, 6 to get the right odds. Yes, exactly. Must roll a 1 on a d6 as well as the hit roll. Yeah, brilliant. Well, fantastic. Got some great potion ideas here. We've had a good old chat. I'm going to work with these. Please do not take it the wrong way if I don't use your suggestion. What happens is with this is it goes into my brain and then I process it and think, oh, that doesn't quite fit with this, with how it's kind of how the ethos or the feel of the game is. So the theme, you can see I'm getting a little bit tired now. So what I'm going to do is type that out tomorrow morning. That's going to be sent to Clive as well. Thank you guys. You'll all get a little credit as well with this one. Maybe I'll just put at the bottom a little thanks goes to these people for suggesting his ideas. This was a community generated selection, these last 3. And fantastic. So I'm going to end the stream there. we have it's been a great week. We've got the levels 1 to 10. We've got the rules nailed down. We just need to, as I was saying before, I'm going to do a quick run through on the tables, pick up some errors, some minor little things that don't actually affect too much of the tables, but we want it to be as neat and as error-free as possible for when it goes to print. That's going to happen over the next few days. And then next week we'll have the finished codex with these extra tables in. And we'll have the codex, and then we'll have the rules done and dusted. One last check, and then we'll print them, probably start sending the print next week or the week after. And then the lair expansion is being worked, and we're kind of on the way with that one. There's going to be more news about that soon, but I'm not going to just get dump everything on everybody at the moment. So that's just where we're at. It's looking good. Guys, you have been fantastic. It has been a lot of fun today, guys. Very much appreciate the wonderful comments and the great community that we have built, and it's just a really nice vibe. So thanks for that. And I will be back again next Tuesday with another stream, something like this, when we can talk more about the lairs potentially and what they're going to include, because there are some slightly different rules for the lairs about the map generation, which are hopefully something that you find exciting when you hear what they are. So guys, take care. We'll catch up soon and have a great week.